Hi there, Christine Williams from Smarter Property Investing, and today I'd like to talk to you about the 3 things that I've learned during COVID-19 whilst investing in property. The first thing I'd like to talk about is investment properties themselves, and I feel that investment properties themselves are the safest asset class in Australia. Why? Well, everyone has to put their head somewhere every night, but the space that I work in, between the $450,000 to the $850,000 mark for the investment properties in townhouses, house and land, and some apartment space, we find that the price itself hasn't retracted during COVID-19, nor has it retracted in any other issue that we've had. And let's talk about the year 2000, millennials. Let's talk about pre and post GFC. Let's talk about pre and post GST. Let's talk about pre and post Royal Commission. Investment properties have become the safest asset class. Yes, we have people that are self-refunded and they're in shares in their superannuation, and it has retracted. It's retracted slightly, or in some cases quite moderately, but in the $450 to $850 purchase price in investment properties, it hasn't retracted. There's been retractions around 1% from an overall Australian perspective, but overall it really hasn't done anything. And this is a long-term strategy, isn't it? So we're not going to sell, we're going to buy and hold. That's what this is all about. The second thing I've actually learned is thinking about how do we choose a tenant? And what would a tenant look like, and how can we make sure that our property is going to be tenanted with the right tenant? Well, COVID-19 has probably taught us something that I actually hadn't realised, but it was something that I was probably doing subconsciously anyway. And when I think about a tenant, I think about their employment status, because as a landlord, we're in this business, this is a business, we're in this to make money and we're in this to create wealth. So we need to make sure that our tenant is employed. And so when I think about COVID-19 and I think about the employment status of who's still working during this crisis, we have our medical sector, we have our construction sector, we have our essential service sector, and we also have our government sector, and education. So if we have a tenant that is working in those areas or a similarly area in that, we know that they're employed, and so the stability of our tenant is actually secured. It was just something that subconsciously I had always been thinking about and doing regardless, but it's come to play in COVID-19. And the third thing that I've learned is how we appreciate money and how we think about money. We've really had to look at income coming into our household and our expenses leaving our household. And for the most people that are living in Victoria and most parts around Australia, with lockdown, we've actually started saving money by cooking at home. We're not travelling as much. We're not putting petrol in our cars as much. We're certainly not dining out, and we're certainly not enjoying entertainment. So there's been a whole shift in the mentality when it comes to money. What does money mean to us and what we're doing with money? So, to recap the 3 things that I've learnt during COVID-19, during this crisis, and there has actually been opportunities, is that investing in property has kept my income stable. I'm comfortable with my income coming in, and I'm certainly comfortable with my expenses going out. Oh, and by the way, I did check my expenses. I've actually reviewed my insurances, I've actually reviewed my home loans, I've actually refinanced. So it's given me some time as well to rethink about money coming in and money going out. Asset class investment property, yes, it works. Of course, the next thing was tenant, choosing the right tenant and understanding their employment status and how that's going to affect you and your income coming in. And of course, the third thing was budget, thinking about money. So I hope these three things that I've learned is going to help you keep investing in property, understand it's a wealth creation, and you at any time can call me and have a chat on my 1300 736 754 number, and I'm happy to answer those questions. Tell me, what have you learnt during COVID-19?